5 proven steps to make sure the market fits your product or service. Knowing your client's true needs and focusing on one problem at a time can help your startup succeed. Keep in mind there are hundreds of businesses entering the marketplace every day, so make sure the final business idea you settle on genuinely solves a pain point for customers, rather than solving a glaring problem in your own little orbit. Find out how to ask the right question during and after your market research so you are prepared to adjust your business model based on the feedback. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as splendid as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today, I want to talk to you about 5 proven steps to make sure the market fits your products or service. Number 1, get proper feedback from the right customers. It is very important before you even start your company, or if you have an existing company and you're thinking about launching a new product or service, you want to get the proper feedback. I'm not talking about just random customers or random prospects. You want to target the people from whom you are going to ask for feedback. You can have an idea of you can have an abstract idea of the kind of products you want to release, but you want to get out there and use various ways to get feedback. Now, there are several ways of getting feedback. You can do it online, or you can do it offline. Online, there are a lot of platforms right now where you can just do very customized surveys, and you can also buy email lists. You can go on social media, and again, all this sort of conversations, all this sort of interactions can be as broad or narrow as you want. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a product that targets college students. You can actually go on the internet and target forums and groups. You can go on Reddit or Quora, or you can go in social media, for instance, and target that specific population. And you can also go, for instance, in Facebook groups where you are talking to those people, to these youngsters that you want to target. That's the online part of things. You can actually also do it offline, where you can go directly on campuses and have flyers and have brochures and have service. You can do face-to-face service. The great thing is that you can combine online and offline. This is called a hybrid approach. So, for instance, in the example I was talking to you about, the college students target audience, you can actually have an app where the students can actually answer 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 questions on the app, and then you can combine that with real-time face-to-face feedback on campus. You can even hire students to kind of help you launch the products. What I'm trying to say here is that it's very important, if you want to have a positive reaction once you roll out your prototype of your product or service, you want to be able to make sure you're getting feedback from the people who are going to use the product or service in the end. And so if you have an enthusiastic interest in the product, then you have a solid prototype and you can go ahead and roll it out. Now remember, these days there is no shortage of data and feedback. In fact, there can quickly be too much of it to be useful if you're thinking about it, because we have so many outlets where you can get the information. I talked about social media. I talked about offline outlets. So the bottom line here is you want to get the proper feedback from the right customers. Once you have the proper feedback from the right customers, please make sure that, actually, we're talking about prospects here. It's not really customers because they haven't tested your product yet. But once you have the proper feedback from the right customers or prospects, make sure they will buy in for real. So it's not just asking people, would you be interested in this product? No, ask them if they are going to buy it. So before you build anything, you have to go door to door or online and ask students, in our example, or ask locally owned businesses, for instance, depending upon the product or service that you want to release. And what I'm trying to say is, you reach out to your target audience and do it face to face and ask them if they would be interested in buying your product or service and what features they would like to see. Then you can go a step further and actually pre-sell the product. think about it. Once you pre-sell the products, you know the size of the demand out there. So you're not surprised on launch day to kind of have that, oh, I was expecting to sell 1,000,000 units and I'm only selling 1,000. So that delta in terms of demand versus supply can be asserted, actually, can be ascertained, rather, can be clarified, can be elucidated if you're able to test things beforehand, right? So it's important to pre-sell, for example, because you are getting a difference in terms of promises versus, yeah, we're going to do it. And pre-sales also help you in terms of getting payments. Now, the payments might seem small, right? But the financial reassurance that comes from it is a big plus. Another thing you want to do is that if you involve prospective customers within the launch process, you are getting a lot of reassurances in terms of, for instance, that your customer base had already bought into the idea. You could use that base to fine-tune your idea and make sure the product fits the market as much as possible. You have proof that your idea was something people would pay for. So you're able to vet your products before launching the real product or service online or offline. So customers are sold enough on your product to invest, which gives you the capital and confidence to fulfill that promise. And that's kind of important if you later on you want to go on crowdfunding platforms such as Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are still having a conversation around 5 proven steps to make sure the market fits your products or service. If you love the content's clarity and quality so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you are informed in real time whenever we drop a new show. And we release this kind of shows every single day, rain or shine. Step number 3, focus on fit, not reach. So if you want to make a significant splash in the market, it can feel like you need to solve all of a customer's problems at once, but you don't really have to. Because if you want to go all in and try to solve all the problems simultaneously, this can diminish your energy and money for development and marketing, which could result, if you think about it, in having several shoddy products instead of one rock solid one. The opportunity here is to focus, the strategy rather is to focus on one great solid product rather than pushing a few shoddy, unstable, non-impeccable products on the market. So you want to focus on the fit. You want to make sure that your products will fit the small niche, the small target audience, your base of loyal customers or loyal prospects, so that you can already have one of the highest revenue producing products even before you launch it for real. So pay more attention to the obvious market fits that you have achieved throughout the research, throughout the market survey, because that's where the sweet spot for your product is. It's very important. Focus on your core idea and then gradually expand as the market demands. So that way you are working in lockstep with the market. You're not one step ahead or one step behind. You are working in tandem with the market, and your products will fit the demands of the real product, of the real market. So focus on the fit, not the reach. Fit here is very simple. As I said earlier, fit means that you have a great product that answers, that fulfills, I would say, 80% of the market demands, not 100%, 80% or 75%. The reach will come afterwards. Once the product starts making inroads in that small niche, people will start talking, and you can use word of mouth to expand the reach. One thing also you have to do, and this is step number 4, is to revisit the market needs periodically. So you first start with a small market, I would say a niche, and you are able now to gradually study the trends, whether the market appreciates your products or service. Once you receive those early accolades and rave reviews, you can work on them to keep improving the products. And how do you improve the product? You need to revisit the market. You need to have a constant conversation with your prospect. You need to have a constant conversation with your customers. The idea here is that it can be very tempting to take a great data or a successful product launch and get comfortable. But don't do that, because you might be thinking, well, after all, I've nailed the market fit and proved my product is as great as I thought. But remember, and experts have said this time and again, products and services can almost always get better. And you're not the only one in the market. Even if you have a monopoly, this is not going to last long, because from monopoly you're going to duopoly, and before you know it, you have a free market, a competitive market. So even if you have a perfect product, customer needs change and the market shifts. As your company grows, it's therefore important to create a positive feedback loop to capture those shifts and consequently adjust. So you want to constantly work with your in-house R&D and marketing department and sales department to refine your ideas, and but by thinking critically, talking to customers, and adjusting accordingly. One thing you have to understand is that at the end of the day, there is no guarantee of success in entrepreneurship, but every refinement can get you closer to it. The level of success that you want to get will only depend on the hard work you put in, the positive feedback loop that you have established with your customers by talking to them periodically or constantly. Revisiting the market periodically also helps you understand what the competitors are doing. So by having that competitive intel, you're able to always stay one step ahead and never be caught off guard by what the competitors are doing. This is very important, and this is step number 4. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing today? We're still having a conversation here around 5 proven steps to make sure the market fits your product or service. Step number 5, know the critical mistakes that even top entrepreneurs often make. Let me repeat that. Know the critical mistakes that even top entrepreneurs often make. Now, there are 3 critical mistakes that top entrepreneurs even always make, actually. Ignoring shifts in the market. Second mistake, losing focus on the customer or not even knowing who they are. And mistake number 3, skipping the critical step of seeking market feedback. Let's talk now about the first one. So ignoring shifts in the market. So if you following trends can often carry a negative connotation. But when you're funding a company, you need to look at what's happening in the market and create a product that aligns around that shift. In doing so, it immediately ensures there is a fit and need for what you're building. If you think about that, that's very important. So you never want to ignore the internet mega trend, for example, if you are in an industry that is linked to online marketing or online trends. And so basically, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to create something absolutely from scratch. You can simply iterate on what's already out there. So you can try to create products that will align with the existing momentum and always be in sync with what's really happening. Don't ignore what the world was not ready for. Don't ignore what the world is ready for, rather. In other words, don't try to be, unless you have like some kind of funding behind you, you have cash for doing trials and errors and seeing what products will work. Just go for something that has already proven profitable and trying to refine it. So ignoring shifts in the market. Step number 2, losing focus. Mistake number 2, rather, losing focus on the customer or not even knowing who they are. Think about it. I mean, you have a customer base and you don't even know who the customer is or what he or she wants. And this only happens if you have not established some kind of direct communication with a customer. You don't have any sort of direct feedback loop with the customer. Don't build a product, methodology, a service, or anything else that the customer doesn't want, and then spending time and efforts and money trying to refine that original product or service to fit what the customer really wants. This is one of the mistakes that top entrepreneurs often make. But again, it depends on your objectives and your financial resources. If you have the money, you have time to do trials and errors. All right. Remember that you are here to serve customers. You're here to serve your clients. So if you put a constant feedback loop in your process, you can build faster and better products. The third mistake that even top entrepreneurs often make is skipping the critical step of seeking market feedback. So you can have a few ideas and about the products or service you want, right? And you can start laying the groundwork for a sales and marketing platform. That's pretty good. And you can say that you had, maybe you had some customers testing what you are building. But and a lot of times, a lot of startups or established businesses, for that matter, they call this stealth mode. So they try things in the background. They're trying to iterate on things, and they basically try to start marketing immediately to a small niche. But if you want to build an audience so that when you are ready to launch, people already know and trust your product, you need to make sure that that audience is the right one. You need to make sure that that audience is ready to buy and listen to you and follow you on social media when you come to the market. But the thing here is that if you skip that critical step of seeking market feedback, you will be basically selling to people who are not ready or interested in your product. And the thing is, again, it depends on your industry, it depends on your resources. But if you don't have the resources and you want to increase your chances of making money from the get-go, you cannot skip the step of seeking market feedback from your product. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I really appreciate your help. Let me quickly recap what I'm talking about here. 5 proven steps to make sure the market fits your product or service. Step number 1, get proper feedback from the right customers. Make sure customers will buy in for real. Focus on fit, not reach. Revisit market needs periodically. Know the critical mistakes that even top entrepreneurs often make. I'll be right back. Not really. I'll talk to you another time. Thank you so much for listening to today's conversation. I really appreciate it. And until then, stay marvelous.